Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Judith and this is Urban Wanderlust Studios. If you're new here, I make videos all about small business tips and tricks, and I make digital resources readily available for all of you makers out there. So today I had this great idea of starting a new series, and we're gonna call it the Pros and Cons series, where I discuss and cover all of the pros and cons, obviously, of any topics that you guys wanna discuss. And the very first topic that I want to discuss is starting a candle business in 2024. So I have my notebook, I have all of my notes, my pros and my cons list, and I can't wait to dive deep into this because I got some debatable content here. Yeah, you're either going to agree with me or you're going to disagree completely with what I have to say, but that's the whole purpose of this new series. And with 7 years under my belt of running a candle business, I think I know a thing or two about the pros and cons about this industry. So let's dive into it. So if there's a topic that you want to see me discuss and to kind of figure out what the pros and cons of that topic is, leave it down below and let's just start a huge debate between all of us. But before we get started today, like and subscribe and hit the little bell notification so you know when we drop new videos. In no particular order, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with our pros and our cons. I was debating whether or not if I should list all the pros first and then all of the cons, but I think a lot of my pros have a con as well. So I think I'm gonna kind of do it in tandem like this. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So the first pro I have for starting your own candle business in 2024 is you get to be your own boss, right? Along with being your own boss, you can decide when you wanna work, when you don't wanna work, and how many hours do you work. So being your own boss is definitely king. And I think that was one of the main reasons why I started my own business too, along with some other little things that I have here, but I don't wanna get too ahead of myself. So along with being your own boss, guess what? You get to make your own hours, right? How long you wanna work, how short you wanna work, if you don't wanna work at all. So even though being your own boss and creating your own hours is a pro, it's also a con. The first con on the list is working hours, because even though you're your own boss, you can make your own hours and you're like,
I'm not gonna work more than 5 hours a day, or every other weekend I'm gonna be free.
That doesn't really happen, okay? So even though you're your own boss, you're gonna end up working 10 to 12 hours on your business, late nights, early mornings, because it's your new baby. You wanna nurture it, you wanna feed it, you have to feed it in order for it to grow, right? That's one of the little downfalls of running your own business. You're probably running your business from home. You're working from home in your business. So it's really hard to have that separation between work and regular life, right? So that's the second con of running your own business, specifically a candle business. You're doing it from home. There's no separation unless you have it in a studio or in a bedroom where you can close the door and kind of separate yourself. There's no separation. Like, when do you stop working and when do you have like me time, right? One of the pros of working from home is you get to work from home. There's no commuting, there's no getting on a train or a bus or having to get in your car and drive to your job. Also, working from home, you can relocate pretty much anywhere you want to. If I want to get up and go to Texas or something like that, there's nothing stopping me. I can pack up my stuff, get up and go because I work from home. I'm my own boss. Another pro of running a candle business in 2024 is that there are great profit margins in the candle industry. So I talk about this a lot. If you create healthy and profitable COGS, which are your cost of goods, you're gonna have really good profit margins, because everyone kind of knows that your base price COG for a candle is around like $4 or $5, maybe $6. And if you're in turn selling it for about like 20 and above dollars, that's a pretty good profit margin. Everyone, jumping in here really quickly to talk about my small business budget chart. This is something I made years ago and I use it every single day in both my personal life and my business life. There's 3 different tabs full of valuable information. The first tab will show you your business startup costs, from material costs, equipment costs, everything is in here. And it's going to show you exactly dollar for dollar how much it's going to cost for you to actually start up that business. Everything is editable and changeable as needed. The second tab is going to show you your cost of goods. Every single material it takes to create your product is going to show you exactly what it is, and it will help you build profitable retail and wholesale prices, which is super important. If this is something that you can see bringing value into your business, click on the link description below and grab yours today. Another pro of selling candles is the joy of just making it, knowing that you're making something with your own hands and selling this to customers and people, and just seeing how excited they are when they have your product, they're smelling it, and just hearing that feedback of, oh my God, I love this. This is amazing. Can you make me, 20 more? I want to give them out to some of my coworkers and family members, and just like having that pride of, holy crap, I just made that and they are loving it. You know what I mean? That's a fantastic feeling. A con is getting all that feedback saying, hey, this sucks, this is tunneling, it's blah, blah, blah. But the con is kind of a pro, because if without that, all the negativity, then you can't perfect your craft. All of that bad feedback that you would be getting is helping you learn and kind of grow to make a better product. So it kind of comes hand in hand. You have the joy of selling this wonderful product that you just made, and then the con of potentially getting bad feedback and actually sucking in it and not being good, But I feel like that you can kind of take that and turn it into a positive, and just like educate yourself a little bit more to make a better product. And with all of that, another pro is more income. So whether you're working a full-time job and you're creating candles on the side so that you can have a double income home, or just extra pocket change so that you can take your family on vacations or pay that cable bill or whatever, it's more income. So that's definitely a pro, which is why I always tell people to practice your craft and test your stuff out. Make sure that it's really good, because you have potential of earning a really high income. So that's definitely a pro. And with that, a con is expensive. The cost of your goods, the cost of your inventory, because candle making is not cheap. So your startup costs are gonna be like astronomical. I can't even say that word. But your startup costs can be so much more if you don't budget yourself correctly. And shameless plug, that's why I created my business budget chart, to help you with these startup costs and knowing exactly how much it's gonna cost all in to start your business. So you know exactly, like, okay, it's gonna cost me $1,000, it's gonna cost me $500 or whatever. You know exactly where your money is going to. Yeah, it's expensive to start a business, a candle business specifically, because you need a wax melter, you need the wax, you need the fragrance oils, you need pots, and you need stirring sticks, and you need your vessels. Where are you pouring this in? What jar, lids, and things like that. Yeah, you can do the double boiler method. You don't actually need a wax melter, because those can get pretty expensive, but that's a whole nother thing. But just having all of that equipment, it's pretty pricey to start out. I'm actually gonna be working on another video that kind of dives deep into how much it costed me to start up my business. So that's definitely gonna be coming out later on in the future, so be on the lookout for that. Another con is inventory, your workspace. Where are you putting all this stuff? You know what I mean? Because if you're getting boxes of candle jars and wax and fragrance oils, and you're starting out in the corner of your kitchen or just on your kitchen countertops, like, where are you putting this stuff? My very first YouTube video was about running a candle business in a small, tiny apartment. And you saw my apartment where I hid all of my wax melters and all of my equipment either in the closet, in the kitchen cabinets. It was just hidden in every little cabinet corner I could even think of putting it, so that when I wasn't candle making, it looked like a regular apartment. And when I was candle making, I would pull out my foldable table, hidden from the corner, and just start getting to work. But lack of space and all of the inventory is definitely a con. So that's something to think about when starting a candle business. It's not like selling a digital product where you can just email the product digitally to someone. So candle making, it has a lot of stuff and it takes up a lot of room. You guys know that I had my candle studio right in my dining room in the middle of my home, so I didn't have a studio. 2 apartments back, when we were living in Long Island, I had my own candle studio in my own bedroom, because we had a 3-bedroom home. And I just hid my candle studio right in one of the bedrooms. So whenever I wasn't candle making, I could just close the door. What else? Okay, so I have my notes here. I'm just checking it out. So another con of running a candle business in 2024 is less time to do the things that you love, like hanging out with your friends, hanging out with your family, if you have a family, or if you have kids at home, or your husband or your partner, whatever. It's less time, because essentially, if you're like me, working 2 jobs, I had my day job and then I would come home and make candles. When do you have that time to spend on your own to do whatever you like or to spend with your family. So that is kind of a con. Now, if this business is your one and only job, then fine, you're just working one job, that's fantastic. But it does take a lot out of you because you're physically making the product yourself, you're making it, you're shipping it, you're marketing it yourself. It takes a lot. You are the one person running your entire business. Like, you're doing all of these different positions and all these different roles. So that's a lot to think about. But on the other hand, now that you're running this business, a pro would be that even though you're not spending time with your friends because you're busy working, you're potentially making new friends because now you're going to shows, pop-ups, vendor events, you're networking, you're meeting new people. So that could be a plus. I remember when I first started, all the new friends that I was making in the candle industry and just learning different things, and not just friends within your state or city or wherever you live, and I've gotten to become really good friends with candle makers in Florida, Chicago, Texas, all over the place, and you just kind of like get to talking on social media. And I think that's pretty cool. So another con to running a small business is liability. That's why it's so important to get business insurance as a company, and also maybe incorporate yourself. So when you're running a business, you should have a separate bank account so that your business assets are separate from your personal assets. So if, God forbid something happens and they end up suing you, they're suing the business and not you personally and taking your money. So that's a huge con, and it's super scary. And I know that that scares a lot of people. So many of my coaching clients are really scared about that. And I think that that's what holds them back the most. But I just kind of feel like if you're educating yourself on the right way of making these candles, teaching your customers the proper way of burning them, and you're educating them on how to do these things, then that's the best that you can do. It's kind of like, raising your child the right way, and then you're just kind of like handing them off into the world and letting them be on their own. That's what it's like being a candle maker, okay? You have your little baby candle and you're setting it out to the world and you're hoping that it's gonna be okay. So, yeah. So another con is the learning phase. So I started in 2017, but I can promise you it probably took me a full year, maybe because I'm a Virgo and everything has to be perfect for me, but it took me an entire year just to learn the entire candle making process and making sure that everything was right and perfect, and that I was learning the proper ways of creating these beautiful candles, strong smelling candles, and making sure that I wasn't oversaturating them with too much fragrance oils. But you want to make sure that you're making your products right and safely for yourself and for your consumers, So the learning process is tough, especially back when I started in 2016. There wasn't much out there on how to make candles. Like, now you can Google and you can go ahead and find tutorials online and things like that. There's so many YouTube videos on how to make a candle and things like that. And you can watch videos like mine in the past in my studio where I was just making candles, and you can just watch someone do it now in the comfort of your own home. But back then when I wanted to learn, there wasn't much information out there. So the learning process and the learning curve, that's a major con, because it does take time. So now the last con, I feel like I have a lot of cons and not that many pros, but there are a lot of pros. But it's just like, I guess all of the cons are things that I want to warn you guys on, and I guess I'm saving it for last. One of the major cons is the market is saturated as okay? Yeah, there are so many people out there making candles, so many people out there making soaps and lip balms. So the candle, soap, lip balm industry is saturated as hell. Everyone's out there making candles, making lip balms and soap from the comfort of their home, because since the pandemic in 2020, that's when small businesses really blew up. Everyone was at home, stuck at home. They got laid off, furloughed, fired, whatever. You're stuck at home. You couldn't do anything. So what are you doing? Everyone's YouTubing. Everyone's learning how to start their own business. So handmade products and tie-dye products, I know that for a fact, blew up in 2020 during the quarantine pandemic, okay? Everything blew up right then. So if you started a business in 2020, good job for you. Your shit probably blew up. Okay, but because of that, competition is tough, and the market is super saturated. So there is a lot more that you have to do in order to separate yourself from these other candle makers and from all these other businesses and really stand out as the top tier business where people should come and buy their candles from. But because of the competition, people are scared to start their business, you know? But I don't think that that should deter you from starting your business. Just because there's a lot of people out there doing the same thing doesn't mean that you can't start. I started in 2016, 2017, and there are makers that started in 2020, 2022 that appear to be doing better than other companies that have started years ago, back like in 2014. So competition is tough, but it doesn't mean that you can't do it. So the next thing is, I don't know if it's a pro or a con, is seasonality. People like to think that candles only do well in the colder months versus the summer months, which is kind of true. The fall and winter, that is our domain. That is where we thrive. That's where candle businesses skyrocket. But that doesn't mean that we don't sell during the spring and summer. We do sell, probably not as much because everyone is out. They're not really home shopping. But what I would suggest you do is that during the spring and summer, really focus on not your candles, but maybe other products within your business that you sell. Like if you're selling lotions, lip balms, wax melts, room sprays, diffusers, things like that, focus on that, because in the summer and in the spring, people don't tend to want to burn a candle or light up a candle. I mean, I still do. We still sold a lot of stuff during the summer, but rely heavily on some of your other products in your business. But if you're just predominantly selling candles, then focus on that. Create new summer fragrances or spring fragrances. You can definitely get some sales during the spring and summer, but the fall and winter is where it's at for that business. So candle businesses in 2024, is it a good idea to start? Yeah, I think so. I think that it's a good time for you to start any business that you're thinking about. Now is always the best time, because every day that you wait, there's someone else out there thinking of your idea that's gonna launch before you even get to launch. So get your idea out there before someone does, before you do. The economy is rough right now, you know, ever since COVID and the pandemic. Supplies are expensive right now, and the cost of candle making goods is rising. And I guess that's a major con. And that's what's leading to a lot of closures with a lot of candle businesses. So right now I feel like there's a stage where a lot of candle businesses are shutting down. For example, I shut down, but it wasn't because of financial issues. It was just because I have a baby, I'm doing YouTube, I have my business, I still work my day job, and it's just like, where else can I spread myself thin that mama is gonna get tired? I was tired, I was exhausted. So I needed to take a step back and see where I can still live within this community, where I wasn't tied to my studio making products and physically shipping them out to customers. So consulting and coaching and creating digital products for all of you makers is where it's at for me. Making these educational videos for you is where it's at for me. It's giving me so much free time to spend with my baby girl and my hubby, and for myself when I want to, and it's been fantastic. The economy is rough, but that doesn't mean that you can't start now. Start slow, start off small, and then grow and see where you go. So that's gonna be a wrap for our pros and cons series. I hope you guys loved it, and I hope you like this new series. Comment down below if you want me to do more of these. If you have any other topics that you want me to cover, leave them down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Also, did you agree with what I had to say? Did you agree with all of my pros? Are there some pros that I didn't even mention? Because I feel like I was like really heavy on the cons. You can always find the negative in something, but it's hard to find the positive in things, you know? But with that being said, like and subscribe, hit the notification button so that you know when we post new videos. And I hope you guys really like this video, because I love this concept now. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.